Welcome to our AMA with the GitLab Women in Security Group. Our Women in Security Group was formed in 2020 to provide support, development, and networking for women in our security department. Currently, these 11 women make up 18% of our security department, bringing widely diverse expertise, experiences, and backgrounds to the group. So we will start things off with introductions of our women in security and then move to our questions included in the doc. Liz, would you like to kick us off with introductions, please?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yep, my name is Liz Coleman. I am a staff security assurance engineer compliance here at GitLab. I've been here just over 2 years, and I've had roughly 7 years or so of IT security experience. I'm not sure if Julia is on the call, but if so.
I'm here.
Oh, yeah, perfect. Pass
I'm here. Thanks, Liz. So hi, everybody. My name is Julia Lake. I am the Director of Security Assurance here at GitLab. My 2-year anniversary with the company is actually next week on April 6th. So I started right at the beginning of COVID, which was a very exciting experience for me. Excited to be here and excited to talk to everybody about our Women in Security group. So with that, I'll pass it over to Madeline.
Hi, everyone. My name is Madeline Lake, no relation to Julia. I joined in August 2022, and I'm a senior in the security compliance team. And previous to GitLab, I have about 7 years experience in security assurance. With that, Valentine.
Hi, I'm Val. I started last year, August 2021, and as a security engineer for the CERT team, I have a background in red teaming, threat intelligence, and now incident response. So that's me.
I'm next. Hey everyone, I'm Heather. I am on our security team, working in external comms. I've been with GitLab for 3 years. And incidentally, I do not have much more than 3 years experience, but the experience that I've gotten here at GitLab in the past 3 years has been everything from soup to nuts. So it's a pleasure to work with the team, and I'm thankful that everybody has joined us today. Rupal, are you on the call? Maybe Joanna, do you want to jump in?
Yep. Hi, everybody. My name is Joanna Ruby. I've been at GitLab for 2 months, nearing 3 months, I guess, sometime this month. So I'm the newest member of the entire team. I work as a security engineer for our trust and safety team. Prior to this, I was a security incident responder and also a security engineer. I am looking forward for this entire event. I believe I'm handing this over to Juliet if she's around.
I don't think Juliet is able to be on the call time zones, but she's entered some answers. Did Rupal join us? Oh, cool. I guess back to you, Kyla.
Thanks everyone for your wonderful introductions. And now we will take this time to move into our AMA, and starting this off, if Sheri is on the call, you can verbalize your question, or I'm happy to do so for you.
Hi, yes, I'm on the call, and I see some answers in here already. Thank you so much for replying. My first question is, can you share your experience or experiences with getting started in technology as a young person, and what inspired you to continue that journey? For example, if you were enrolled in STEM or encouraged to join FIRST Robotics. Personally, I didn't know about those programs until later, like high school and college. So I felt late to the game when I found out about those opportunities.
And Val, I believe that you had the first answer if you want to verbalize.
All right, I will go first. So I started the traditional way by studying computer science because I wanted to become a game designer. Look what happened. Cybersecurity was not really part of the program, which is kind of weird when you think about computer science. But in the master's, people started finally thinking about it. So I basically just thought, hey, this is new and it's pretty relevant. So let's go in there. And yeah, what really got me into the field was volunteering for a security conference that was happening in my hometown, organizing the conference and sort of getting in contact with just the industry people, because there was people from all over the world coming. So it was really good to get a nice overview of what's happening in cybersecurity in the world. So that's for me.
Yeah, I guess I'll jump in since I'm next. I didn't really know about IT until college, and it was really happenstance. I actually, fun fact about me, flipped a coin to determine what major I wanted to be in college, either College of Business or go into theater. And it landed on College of Business. So I went into the College of Business and kind of try to figure out what majors interest me. Most interested in accounting, at least as an undergrad, and kind of tacked on business information systems to hit your 225 college credits to get your CPA. And it turned out that I hate accounting and I never want to get a CPA. So I kind of stuck with the business information systems and was involved in a lot of different college clubs. And then from there, got involved in other organizations within the community that I live in, and got a job, and it naturally fell into place.
Joanna, do you have anything to add to those 2 points?
Yeah, my experience was a little different. So I learned about IT at the last year of my high school. I went to an all-girls school, and we had no such thing as IT before. And the only thing we really had was cooking and sewing. But I wanted to take mathematics and also IT, but we didn't have it in our school. So my principal actually told me to go to an all-boys school to take this class. Every day I would walk for 15 minutes and go to an entire boys' school to take calculus. And that's kind of where it pivoted me, because the boys were building go-karts, they were building websites, and they would talk about it in class. And just because upon hearing from it, I got interested because it was something that was really cool. And with my own allowance and my savings, I did a 2-day course on website building. And after that, I just kind of knew, like, oh my goodness, this is something I really want to take. And so in university, I took computer science, but that's really where I landed into STEM. Because I was really stubborn and my principal supported me. And then in the computer science area, I didn't know about cybersecurity, but I was always passionate about helping women who've been human trafficked and child pornography in that sense. But I didn't know anything about cybersecurity until someone told me about it. And eventually I kind of, because I've spoken a little bit about it, a lot of my people that I worked with when I was a software developer have pushed me to that area, and eventually landed myself in security. So that's kind of been about my journey, just sharing my passion to the people around me and them kind of learning and knowing more than what I did.
That's wonderful. And Juliet also had a point in perspective to add, where she shared that she was also involved in an all-girls high school, where the number of girls who could take the computer studies classes were limited based on performance indicators. And so she had to put in extra effort to score high marks on exams that allowed her the opportunity to be part of the class, which I think is really, really incredible. So even though she believed that, tech should be available to everyone, really, those are the challenges that she faced as well. And she also shared that one thing that encouraged her was her teacher was a woman, and she was a great mentor to all of them in the class. And she inspired her to take her interest in tech and further that forward, which led her to doing computer science degree and pursuing a master's degree later on in cybersecurity. So really inspiring points and perspectives shared. And I believe Julia and Rupal also have perspectives that are great stories as well. Would you like to share those?
Sure, thanks, Kyla. So my experience is a little bit different. So I actually had an older brother that was uber technical. So I grew up in a household that always had a focus on tech. He was always jailbreaking all of our video game applications. And I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. So I got into tech at a very, very young age. When I was growing up in high school, the only focus on tech was basically learning how to use Microsoft Word. All of the fancy things that come along with technology didn't quite exist yet. But because I was so comfortable with technology, it was a pretty obvious choice for me to go into tech when I went to college. So I got my degree in management information systems. I was one of 2 females in the entire program, which was, I think, about 400 different individuals within the program when I graduated. But with that being said, I had a spectacular support system with the professors that were part of the management information systems program. They always made sure that we felt empowered. They always encouraged us to continue forward with the different projects that came up within the program. And I and the other female had a lot of support as part of that. So it was a very natural transition for me to go into a field of technology and the field of security as part of my experience there. So I was very fortunate to be well supported both within my household and with the professors that were part of the program that I was in during college. I don't think we have Rupal on the call yet.
Great. I see, Sharita, you're also typing a remark in here if you wanted to share that as well.
Sure. Hello, good morning and good afternoon and good evening to everyone. Sharita McMullen. I am new to GitLab and working on our diversity and inclusion and belonging. From what I can gather, first of all, amazing AMA. I'm glad to be a part of this. My background, I'm a little odd in that I sit in people today, but I started my background and degree in electrical engineering. And the reason that I did so, and much more to type out, but the reason that I did so is I was really good in math and science and was encouraged actually to go into it. And when I started looking at salaries afterwards, my mother was a single mother and I was like, you know what, I could probably make the most coming out as an engineer. So I decided to go into engineering. So I know that's a little bit different as far as the influence, but my goal really was to be self-sustaining and have an opportunity to grow, but basically make a decent salary when I graduated so that I could not only help myself, but my family.
Thanks, Sharita. I believe that Sheri, you also have the next question if you'd like to verbalize.
Yes. As a female minority who always worked in a male-dominated industry, FinServ and FinTech prior to core technology, I've always felt I had to prove myself with the amount of knowledge I knew and justify that I'm qualified to be here. On top of that, moving across country, I've noticed ageism a lot more as commonplace. So just wanted to ask if you had any similar hardships or experiences you've had, how you handled them and overcame those battles.
I guess I'll start. Yeah, it's a complicated topic because it's very personal, I think. But for me, it was like, I mean, the wisdom of if you want something, just ask for it, that. And the worst that can happen is no. And that sort of boosted my confidence to get over those insecurities, like that you have, like, oh, I'm not good enough, or oh, I don't compare, or I'm a bit different than the majority, so I must be not good enough or something. That I got over that by just voicing my concerns, voicing what I want, voicing what I think I deserve to get. And I think that was the greatest advice I could get from a woman in cybersecurity, actually. And yeah, of course, you have some odd people sometimes in the cybersecurity fields. My girl friends who are in cybersecurity, we all had a stalker once. It's not a fun story, but we laugh about it. But yeah, it's it's the way it is. So yeah, most of the guys I have around me are just amazing and awesome, and they're very supportive. So that helps as well.
I'll voice my comment next. Yeah, something that I've kind of felt has been helpful to me over time to kind of fight this pretty complicated topic is just, I've never been one to be the loudest person in the room. And I don't feel like we have to be in order to be seen. I think if we just like show up to the table, we stick to our like work ethic, our values, and we kind of just let the work kind of speak for itself. Speak up when you feel like you need to or should or want to. But I'd encourage like kind of fighting to be like the loudest or, you know, like waving your arms just so that you feel like your seat at the table is valid. Sometimes saying nothing says it all. So that's kind of my advice to that. Madeline?
That is great advice, Liz. Somewhat different on your topic around ageism and also sexism, obviously, a very complicated subject, but I remember this pretty vividly about 7 years ago now, when my first job out of college, I was in a meeting with a senior DBA person and I was walking through something with him. And in the first few minutes of the meeting, I remember he looked at me directly in the eye and said, "How old are you even? And are you even qualified to be talking to me?" And I remember, if you can imagine, I was very shy when I first graduated from college. And it really caught me off guard and it jarred me a little bit. And I kind of just ignored the comment and moved on with the next topic in the meeting agenda. But I think from that experience, just really making sure, and it resonated with me to make sure that I came to meetings very prepared and had insightful questions and kind of demonstrated my qualification and like my seat at the table through that example. And I'm sure I would have done that before that experience happened, but it kind of just made that more forefront in my mind, especially today, even going into meetings. Like it's hard for me not to be super prepared and have those questions laid out ahead of time. So as Val and Liz were saying, you know, really just like demonstrating your qualifications and asking if you don't understand, I think really resonates. Joanna, you have more to add.
Yes, thank you so much for that, Madeline. I think for me and how I handled kind of the situation, especially when I just recently graduated too, is I learned to let my work speak for me louder than whatever I could possibly say to other people. So when I would be into projects, I'd made sure I'd have an excellent work ethic to show to them that this is something who I am, because sometimes our work can speak louder than ourselves. And also if there is a time where someone asks me about my age, I always pivot because I don't want them to think that my age has any correspondence to my work ethic or to my experience, because there's a lot of things that you can learn to on your spare time that you can bring into your workplace, which I really am for. So yeah, I definitely think that your work can speak louder sometimes. Heather, is there anything you'd like to say and add to that too?
I think that we all have similar situations. I mean, mine is, I was saying, a unique perspective, only the sense that on our security team, I'm one of the few non-engineers. And so I feel, in addition to what everyone else has said above, is that, yeah, I need to let my work ethic shine through. I need to work harder because, you know, I have a background in marketing and comms, and I sit in an engineering function. So I think my work and my expertise is not as readily understood. So that's one thing. The other thing is, as everyone else has said, asking questions when you have them, I mean, is better than sitting there and pretending that you understand. I mean, that took me a little while to appreciate. And I have found that with many of my conversations with our engineers, my asking questions are actually pushing them to provide better answers, you know, for our community, for our customers, to think through things that maybe a different viewpoint can bring. And then, of course, trusting your teammates and your mentors to keep you in check when imposter syndrome creeps up, because that's definitely, you know, an issue for me. But yeah, having people and strong relationships that you can trust is helpful there. I think Rupal's not on the call, and her answer is there. I wonder, Sharita, if you want to voice your response.
Sure. So just real quickly, I think we were speaking a little bit about voice and speaking up and access. And prior to me getting into the people field, I was working in US retail. And so one of my clients or my customers were Chinese based, but we were in US retail. So what that did is it gave me an opportunity to work with individuals all over the world, all dispersed. And I mentored at the same time. And what I noticed was that a majority of the concerns that those that were new to career or millennials had was they would say something and it would be disregarded. They would be told, yeah, that's not how we do things here. They didn't really have access to leadership. And so it gave me an opportunity to start what we called ERGs here, TMRGs. And it was focused on our millennial population, as well as giving them not only a structured way to be able to connect with leadership, but actually give them a voice that would be heard because it wasn't limited to whatever meeting they were in or project that they were focused on. And so that to me is an opportunity to kind of show allyship when and I think somebody else has said that as well, when others don't have the ability or are not being heard.
Great perspective shared there by everyone. I'm going to skip down here with only a few minutes left with our time together. Madeline, would you like to verbalize your question?
Sure. So since we're the Women in Security group, I took a look at our demographics in our security department. We have around 61 team members and 11 of us are women in this group. So that's about 18% of the department. And I was just curious on everyone's perspective, if you think that's representative of the industry. Like, is that good representation or are we lacking? Is there anything that we feel like our cohorts in the department and the company can be doing to help support us more? And is there anything to our group that we should be doing to encourage more recruitment?
Val, did you have anything that you wanted to share with the group from Madeline's question?
I think Liz might have more to say, but for me, it's just the first time that I'm not the only woman in my team. That's all I wanted to say.
Great. Liz, do you want to add some context?
Yeah, I would echo that sentiment. I think 18% for women in the security department is not something I've ever experienced. So it's been just a really amazing opportunity to be able to work with all of these wonderful ladies. You know, to kind of the links above in terms of what GitLab's doing, I think GitLab does a really great job of supporting and elevating women in different departments. But some of the things that I've seen that I didn't know before is like we actually have a KPI that tracks hiring of women in different roles, which I thought was super cool. And then we also have a couple of these groups, which we're in right now, talking about women in security. I know we've all talked about what to do to provide additional like services, context, not just within GitLab itself, but with others as well. And I guess I can say, you know, those agendas are open, and any ideas or thoughts to that point would be nice to be written down and considered for kind of future things. But yeah, I think GitLab does a good job of supporting women in all different roles, including security. So that's all I had to add.
That's great. Wonderful. Well, we are at time at the moment here. I just want to thank everyone for participating in a wonderful discussion, all of the perspectives and experiences shared by our panelists today. And I just thank you all for your participation. And within the doc here, you can see that we have additional questions listed here. We will async the rest of the questions. Feel free to review the answers and insights shared asynchronously. And again, thank you everyone for joining us today. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.
Thank you, Kyla.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.